Hi, I'm Daniel. Did you know that Jesus can do anything? I mean, like really anything? Well, in our story today, guess what Jesus did? You want to guess? I'll tell you. He actually walked on water. Listen to the story.
It had been a very long day. Jesus and his disciples had been out teaching about God and performing miracles. Many people followed them, and Jesus spent the rest of the day teaching and feeding 5,000 people. When the day was over and the crowds were leaving, Jesus told the disciples to go find their boat and go back to the other side of the lake. When everyone left, Jesus went up to the mountainside by himself to pray. You see, Jesus needs to pray too. He had a long, tiring day, and performing miracles was very tiring. He knew he had to be close to his heavenly Father so he could have the strength to go on each day and resist all temptation that came his way. When Jesus had finished praying, it was very early in the morning, probably around 3 or 4 a.m. He went to the shore where the disciples had left some time earlier. He could see the boat, but it was quite far away. The wind had taken them faster across the lake than usual. Jesus knew that he had to get to the other side of the lake and join the disciples. I'm sure he could have swam, flew, or jumped across the lake, but Jesus decided that he could teach the disciples something, so he started to walk on the water towards their boat. I'm not sure if you've ever tried walking on water, but it's impossible. So Jesus walked and finally was close enough to the disciples that he could see each of them on the boat. All of a sudden, one of the disciples said, "What is that?" He pointed out into the water, and all the disciples turned around to see what was out there. "I think it's a ghost. What else could it be?" a few of the disciples said, terrified. Jesus could see and hear the confusion. He shook his head and called out, "It's all right. I am here. Do not be afraid." The disciples looked at each other and felt silly. They had thought their teacher was a ghost. Then Peter replied, "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," Jesus said with his hand reaching out to him. The disciples watched as Peter carefully got out of the boat and began to walk on water towards Jesus. Peter watched Jesus at first, but then started noticing the wind and the small waves on the water and looked around with worry. As soon as Peter started to be scared, he started to sink and he cried out, "Lord, save me!" Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him before he was totally covered with water. "You have such little trust for me, Peter," Jesus said. "Why did you doubt me?" Peter walked to the boat with Jesus by his side and wondered to himself why he got so afraid. He knew that Jesus could do anything. It seemed that as soon as he took his eyes off Jesus, he started to think about other things, and that is when he began to sink. As soon as Jesus got into the boat and the wind stopped and the water was calm, then everyone in the boat worshiped Jesus, saying, "Truly, you are God's Son."
Awesome. Wasn't that an amazing story? Jesus walked on water. And not only that, his disciple, his friend Peter, was able to walk on water as well. You know what that tells me? And you know what I want you to remember from this story? That you can do all things through Christ. So that's our little cheer for today. Can you do it with me? I'm going to say, I can do all things. You say, through Christ. You got it? I'm going to say, I can do all things. You say, through Christ. Here we go. I can do all things. I can do all things. And it is that simple. We can do all things through Christ. If Jesus could walk on water, there's nothing too hard for Jesus. Remember that. You can do all things through Christ. See you next time. Have a great day. Bye.